Welcome back. Well, Moran Yanai is the first woman who was taken hostage by Hamas to visit Australia. For 54 days, she was shuffled between 7 different locations in Gaza. She survived with barely any food or water and was in constant fear of dying. Moran shared with me her story of determination and survival just a moment ago. Moran, thank you so much for having the courage to join us today.
Thank you so much. It's my privilege to be here.
Moran, you were at the Nova Music Festival to sell jewellery. What happened to you on the morning of October 7?
I was going to the Nova Festival to fulfill my dream. And at 6:29, this dream literally turned into a nightmare. It was completely chaos everywhere, and everybody was running all over the place. Some of the people didn't understand what was going on. It took us 5 hours to escape and to hide until we got caught.
And so you were captured by Hamas. Can you tell us what happened and how that unfolded?
So I was captured. Actually, I was caught 3 times, and I managed to escape twice. But in the 3rd time, I broke my leg, and I was not able to run anymore. And then the Hamas terrorists caught me and passed me to a group of 13 Hamas terrorists. I was dragged into Gaza. I was beaten all through the way. It felt like it was a huge party, a huge fiesta for all the civilians in Gaza, us entering as hostages. And that experience, that image, I will never forget.
So they were celebrating as you were terrified, being dragged in there. Where were you taken?
I was taken to a very small house. There is no situation that you feel safe even for 1 minute. And on top of it, everything is forbidden. It's forbidden to cry, it's forbidden to talk, it's forbidden to think. They literally want to numb you in every possible way.
You've said the hunger and the despair was unbearable. How bad did it get? How dark were the times for you in the 54 days that you were held hostage?
So obviously I needed to help myself fight every single day, not to let them break me. But the condition and the mental fight that they're running against your mind, you need to understand it's on a daily basis. It's every minute. You need to protect yourself for everything, from their mental fight against you, from the neighbors not to find you, from the bombing, from yourself, and on top of that to be hungry and to be frustrated.
You were also forced to dress in disguise, and you were moved around to, I think, 7 different places while you were in Gaza. Can you tell us about that?
So moving in between the houses is, you cannot be exposed to the civilians because you need to hide from them too. So obviously they forced us to disguise every time we moved the house. So every time it was a different disguise. If I was with my broken leg, then I was like an old lady on a wheelchair. And then the other time I had to pretend that I'm a part of a family. And one time I had to pretend that I'm the Hamas wife. And it's like changing every time. And
some of your friends that you were taken hostage with at the time, I understand they didn't make it out alive.
One friend, one particular boy, which is not a boy, very much a man, when I left him, we said we're going to meet in Tel Aviv in the street and we will talk about our experience. 3 weeks later, he was murdered in Gaza, and they still blame that Israel killed him. It doesn't matter because they took him from his house. They killed his mother, they killed his father, and then they murdered him. His sister is literally stayed by herself right now with no family because of one day, because of one decision that one person took, that he wants to eliminate everything.
So sorry, Moran. You've said that when the terrorists were angry, they took it out on the hostages, that every minute you were fearful. Can you tell us, so that we understand what the circumstances are like, what are some of the things that Hamas did when they did get angry at the hostages?
So, you know, I told my story so many times. I don't really want to go into specific details right now, but I want you all to understand that every single day is unexpected. If it's one time that I was gun pointed to my head, if it was one time that I was beaten, and I'm thinking about the rest of the girls that are sitting there right now, that they just started their life. They don't have the tools to deal with this situation. And I think that main goal right now is to do everything impossible. Everyone is responsible to take them and to take them out.
Do you think the international community should be doing more to help the hostages?
I think that I know that it's been almost 6 months now, and I know that people are going into their daily routine because it's inevitable. But that's what we do now, to remind everybody to not forget, because this is the most terrifying thing that a hostage could ever experience, to be forgotten, to be stopped fighting for him.
When you were being held captive, did you worry that you were being forgotten? Is that something that Hamas told you, that your country wasn't coming to find you, that they didn't care?
Yeah, that's a daily routine, to come, to say that our family is not fighting for us, that we have no country to go back to because everything is burning, that our army is a coward army and is not coming to fight for us, and that our government is rejecting us coming back home, which obviously was not true, because our people are so united right now.
If you're not comfortable to answer this question, I completely understand. There has been a lot of criticism of the women's organisations internationally for ignoring the rape and sexual violence from Hamas towards Jewish women. Is that something that you would like to speak about? Do you feel angry at those organisations?
This is not my story to tell, but I know from first-hand testimony that they can deny it as much as they want to, but it happened. And it happened in so many ways, not only the conventional way that everybody is thinking about her. I'm not the presenter of that, but we do keep on fighting for that, because it's not possible that people will deny that situation when obviously there are testimonies and evidence that it did happen, that it did occur. At the beginning, we did not want to talk about it because we wanted to protect at any cost of all the girls, but this is a situation that cannot be denied, because there are tons of evidence that it happened, and I know from firsthand that it did happen. But
what is, your one call of action, your message to the international community? Do you think there should be more pressure put on Qatar, for example, which is housing Hamas leadership, to release the hostages? Do you think the Israeli government should be doing more? What do you strongly feel needs to happen now?
I think that each and every one is responsible. Each and every one, each and every civilian, each and every human being. Because if it will stay like this, if they will not come back home, and I believe that everyone has the same amount of power. We can only pray that that happens, and it happens quickly. It's been too long already. Moran, I have to thank you for your courage in doing this interview, your only television interview here in Australia. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Thank you so much.